Raghavan Iyer joining us once again. Indian Cooking Unfolded is the book right here. Getting the sizzle going. There you go. There's the book. We're going to give this away at the end of the segment. Raghavan, you've got so many recipes. What, 110 ingredients per recipe in the book?
10 ingredients or less, and these are all main grocery store ingredients because it shows you the simplicity of Indian cooking by going to your main grocery store, looking at the top 5 spices we use in India, and then how do you create those layers of flavors and textures we talk about. Because, you know, the big perception is Indian food is very complex.
Yeah.
And the book, written as a cooking teacher of 22 years, it really breaks it down and it shows you the comfort level, and every dish is prepped in a half hour or less. And so here, I mean, you're seeing the beauty of the colors because, as you know, India is a land of colors, textures, aromas, tastes.
It's a great visual appeal.
And so you eat with all your senses, you know. And so right in here, you're looking at the inclusion of, you know, the world of spices comes into play, but it's not a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I've got the bell peppers, but I also have the dried red chilies, which we're adding right to that.
Go easy on those guys right there with the spice,
But,
right?
you know, the thing about it is you really do look for it. You can see the beauty of the peppers now starting to blister. And that actually accentuates the sweetness of it. And then I'm also going to add to that a couple of bay leaves, you know, just to give it another aromatic component to that. And at some point, I'm going to get you ready to start adding the fresh dill. But I'm going to hang. Now, dill is something that is very regional to the northwestern part of India, especially in the Pakistan border. The Sindhi community use actually fresh dill in their cooking.
So if someone wants to get started with Indian cooking, I see you've got the spices laid out. What are maybe the top 5 to start with to get things going?
I would say you look at cumin, coriander, cardamom, turmeric, and mustard.
Okay.
And that's it. And again, these are main grocery store ingredients because I always talk about whole spices.
Yeah.
And so when you give whole spices to Indians, you know, we should extract 8 flavors from a given spice. And so you've got, what I've added in here is another component of the pepper family. I added some chilies to
the
give
heat
more.
factor's going up.
The heat factor is going up. And so, and to that, you know, I'm going to add a little bit of salt because you do need the salt to bring out the flavors of everything. But you can see, you can go ahead and add your fresh dill to that right now.
Now what are we doing, just a pinch here?
You can actually, you can go more I would say another 2 or 3 of them, just so you got a nice, almost a grassy component, which is really quite tasty.
Yeah.
And I'm adding, Riaz, also some ground turmeric, which is a spice that has got a lot of medicinal properties. And I've got a little bit of ground cumin as well. And so that is it. And you can see now, I mean, it takes you hardly 5 minutes to put this together.
So with this book, this is fascinating because of, I mean, you're talking about unfolded. There's a nice visual appeal with some of these pages unfolding. When you're making the Indian cooking, do you have to spend half an hour to an hour in the kitchen, or are you a proponent of let's just keep it simple and let's do it quick?
Let's keep it simple and quick. I mean, some of those, there's one dessert in there which has got 2 ingredients in it. And it's got a Greek-style yogurt and sweetened condensed milk, and you put them into a little thing, add a little bit of cardamom, and bake it in a water bath, and you've got a dessert that has a resemblance of cheesecake. Very classic to the eastern part of India. But so I show you the classic flavors, but how do you break it down and keep it very simple?
Yeah.
And you know, and the thing about it too is, you know, you look at in India, everything is served at the same time, and so there's a reason why, because everything on that dish creates a sense of balance. You're creating balance of taste, texture, aroma, flavors, and then all of a sudden you've got food that really sings in your mouth. And so we've got, I'd love for you to sample some.
That's the final product.
And that's the final product.
So I'm going to hold this up, Raghavan, because quickly, you've got to point out you have a master's class going on this weekend. Already sold out. This man is a good teacher. He's a man in demand, but we're going to give away this book right here, Indian Cooking Unfolded. Email us, contest@btvancouver.ca, subject line, peppers in there, and I am going to dive in. Thank you, sir.
And this is where you see the sweetness of the peppers come through.
And the smell, fantastic already. This is good, and the heat not overpowering, just right to kick up the flavor.
It's a good balance.
I might dive in a couple of times. Going to take a final break, wrap it up. Raghavan, thank you so much.
Thanks again for, yeah, really, it's my pleasure.
All right.